I think if we'd had known how the weather is in Turin with the lovely sun outside, we would have come here a week earlier because we've been in Italy for a week and we've just had rain for most of the week. I think today is the first day that I can walk without my coat. I think let me maybe on behalf of our foundation and the South African chapter just say what a pleasure it is to be with you today. I think we're glad to be with you on this very big occasion for your foundation. And hopefully what we will share with you and what I will note to you today will be maybe similar to some of your experiences that you've had in Mirafiori as well. I think it was no surprise when the foundation was asked to make the input by Bernardino, who organized the input, because we do a lot of good work. But when my colleague Joanna, who's seated in the front row here, said, but I had to make the input, I thought, why would I have to do that? Because I'm only on the board, and what do I know about community foundations? I think that's the idea of the foundation and the Secretary General and the administration, to get the board involved and to start talking about the work that we do in our foundation. So that when we go out, we are able to speak about the work of the foundation to other people, even if we are not experts in the field of foundations. What I would like to do is, and then just another point about, I think, WCCF. I think what will maybe come out of the input is how we've mobilized resources in the community. I think it was the president of Mirafiori, that also, Mr. Pichetto, that also spoke about how sometimes you need to mobilize resources in your community if you don't have a big financial endowment to start off with, and to get local people to recognize what the needs are in their community. I think that is the story of WCCF that maybe we would like to share with you. What I'd like to do is maybe to start at the national level, to give you an idea of how it's going with the community foundations in South Africa. And then once I've done that, to sort of zoom into how is it being done in our region on the West Coast. And as I've said to the Chair Marco now, it's the Western Cape Province. So it's just the area north of Cape Town that we operate in. I'm a member of the board of West Coast Community Foundation, and I've been involved with the foundation for the past 2-3 years by now. A small board, we have about 5 individuals represented on our board. And what we've tried to do is to get a mix of skill and of competency that people bring to the board, and to have a good, I think, representativity of the diverse population that we have in the country, but also in our region in particular. Some background on the foundation. The foundation was started about 10 years ago by a group of individuals who came together and saw a need that had to be addressed on our region. And they founded the foundation that we are now part of today. If we look at WCCF, the foundation that I'm involved with, I'd just briefly like to tell you about the vision and mission of the foundation. I've put one slide on the screen that you can just follow there in English, fortunately. The vision is to be a catalyst to mobilize resources in the communities to get them to the point of self-sustainability. I think one of the previous speakers have already spoken to get communities to be at the point of sustainability when it comes to looking after their interests in the area. The mission includes identifying and bringing together strategic partners that can assist us in rolling out the vision and achieving our vision. Then also building the capacity of our own foundation of WCCF, but then also of the community, the internal community, and those external to us. Then to encourage Ubuntu, which is now a Xhosa word, which really means that you are, I am because of others. So the word really means that you don't get to, no man is an island, so you don't get to where you are through your own efforts, but because of how you've been working with other people. So that's really the meaning of the word Ubuntu. Philanthropy, mutual giving, and then self-help. Then also to promote the collaboration between business, government, and civil society, which is also, I think, a work in progress as we go on. And I think what makes us unique maybe in our case is that we try and work as close to our communities as we can. And we like to think that no other organization or the foundation knows the community best of all the other role players in our region. If we move on to the community foundations in South Africa, of which the West Coast Community Foundation is a member of the association. At present, the two oldest foundations were started 10, 11 years ago through a pilot program that was run. And they range from big foundations with high financial turnover, big budgets, I can call it that, to smaller foundations that have only recently started. They share a common approach in terms of how they go about their work. And in our context, most of the time, we can't just make grants available. But a lot of time, communities have to go through a process of capacity building. So you would start with the community at one point, and then you have to first do capacity building workshops to train and to educate. Because sometimes, except the issues, there are other issues also that also impact on what the success of a grant will be. So over the course of the existence of WCCF, and I think in the later slide, we too have done quite a number of capacity building workshops to educate and to build the capacity of our own communities. So by saying that, the programs vary from area to area depending on what the local context is. But we also don't only make grants like some community foundations, but also have to sometimes implement projects as well to do some development work in the area that we operate in. And in so doing, preparing communities and civil society organizations to be ready for a time that a grant does come in. We share a common approach, like I've said. And then, very recently, we've changed the approach to making grants in our areas. So in other words, before we used to go into an area, and once the preliminary work had been done, a grant would be made available, which would be a financial amount. But recently, we've also looked at how do we do things. And this is now generally throughout the Community Foundation in South Africa. And some of the WCCF staff have attended training in Canada, which is called an asset-based approach to development and to grant making. And what it does is to look at what are the potentials, what is existing in those areas when you go in there. Because a lot of times you have maybe elderly people that have worked for a long time, people that have a skill, maybe carpentry and so on. And then you just need to bring that skill on board. So the community doesn't necessarily need a financial contribution. It's not always about money that comes in there, but they can also contribute something from themselves. So we've now gradually changed from a needs-based approach, which was how things used to be done, to an asset-based approach in doing grant making. And this is also generally how it's been accepted by the other community foundations as well. In terms of the benefits of community foundations in South Africa, I think I'd maybe like to just highlight two studies that were done to look at what have been the benefits. So yes, we have community foundations in South Africa and have had for on to 10 years by now. And what have been the benefits to real people out there, people in communities? The one study I'd like to show is the book title is The Poor Philanthropist. And this was also done in 3 volumes. And it shows the benefits of how community foundations can help people, helping each other at grassroots level. The second study, and the study also describes the benefits of community philanthropy and underscores grassroots approach of communities in South Africa. It typically illustrates how a community must first go through a developmental process. I think I illustrated that earlier. The developmental process of capacity building. And then in addition, a survey was also done of community foundations through the Global Fund for Community Foundations in a work titled More Than the Poor Cousin. And this also evaluated what the impact has been of the organizations on its grantees.